Is it okay to put your kids up, or do you want this up? Okay, great. Is that good? Or do you want both? So you have the other one too. Oh, there's the other one. Move it over. Oops. No, that one could do the next one. You have two of them, remember? Okay. If you want this one. Okay. Okay.
Well, hello. Good morning. My name's Robin Kinebrew, and the first picture was of my family, but it's kind of cut off. So I'm going to show my twin sons who have sickle cell. And I appreciate this opportunity to speak with you. I was asked to discuss some of the additional stigmas that families, African-American families, may feel when seeking out mental health support from a therapist. And I thought one way to do this was just to share my journey. There are many reasons why some African-American families may not seek treatment because they continue to hold stigmas about the mental health community. And getting help for a physical condition is considered normal. But still, it's still kind of taboo to seek out help from a mental health professional. It's still, in some circles, you're considered a little crazy, even for looking for help for things like mild depression or anxiety. I've heard people say, you know, they're just not strong enough. They can't handle anything. That's why they need to seek help. And I thought I would just highlight a couple of reasons through a couple of these reasons through my family's journey of embarrassment, of fear, of looking weak. And just being totally transparent, I was one of the ones who believed in those stigmas. It's taken me a while to embrace and accept that a therapist can help. I was one of the ones who was ashamed and embarrassed, even on the days when I felt overwhelmed, scared, afraid, uncertain, and the list just goes on and on. I knew I would manage. My focus was just to keep my children healthy and to keep a positive environment around them. I didn't think I should look for help. My family had a strong support system. And between my husband, our supporting God, our natural family, our church family, I knew we would just get through it. We would figure it out. We would just, a lot of times you hear just pray about it. So that's what we did. However, our twins were born premature. They were 33 and a half weeks old, and they were born with sickle cell disease. My youngest son had surgery and various other surgical procedures, all before the age of 3. So we spent many days in the hospital. And I kind of remember one day telling a doctor that between my 3 sons, I think we've been on every service there was. But I didn't feel ashamed. I didn't feel embarrassed. I just felt like they had medical conditions, and the surgeon in the hospital was there to help. I felt like it represented our strength as a family, and we had learned to navigate the system very well. But our twins, who are now 19 years old, that was the reason why we spend most of our time in a hospital, in a doctor's office, or clinic. And for those of you who don't know what sickle cell disease is, it affects the hemoglobin and red blood cells. They're normally disc-shaped, so they move smoothly through small blood vessels. But children or people with sickle cell disease, their red blood cells develop rigid crescent-shaped or sickle-shaped red blood cells, and they can get stuck in their small blood vessels. This can cause lots of things, but the most thing is known for is severe pain. And the way they manage or treat it, we call it a pain crisis, is with strong narcotics like Dilaudid, morphine. And a lot of times, people with sickle cell, there's no rhyme or reason, there's no pattern. Everything about sickle cell, there's a lot of uncertainty. So you spend a lot of time, you might wake up in the morning, you're fine. And by that night, you're in so much pain, you're in the ER and you're being admitted and treated. And you never know how long that mission is gonna last. You don't know what's gonna develop. You don't know, just there's so much uncertainty. So because my sons at a younger age, they did not have a lot of problems, but as they got older, they started having more and more issues. So our hematologist recommended that we begin to see a therapist and kind of work on pain management techniques. So we agreed, my husband and I agreed, based on the doctor and the nurse practitioner's recommendation, and they were supposed to help develop coping skills like management or meditation with guided imagery, distraction techniques, just coping mechanisms. And I wanted them to have other tools besides medicine. So as I took them to their first appointment with the therapist, I felt embarrassed. I didn't want to run into anyone that I knew. I didn't want, people to think that there was something physically or mentally wrong with my children. So as you got on the elevator and you pushed the button, there was a certain floor you go to, and I just felt like everybody was staring at us. I felt like everybody knew because that was the floor you went to, for mental health help. And I also felt, because I wasn't for sure, I didn't know of anybody who had actually seen a therapist before. I didn't know what to expect when we got there. Because basically, like I said, in my circle, you were kind of considered a weak-minded person if you had to go seek out help. But when I got there, I paid our copay, and one of the thoughts that popped into my mind was, well, how is this charge going to show up? Is it going to show up as psych services, on my credit card? I was, just little silly thoughts that go through your mind, but it's still something. It would be something that would show that we actually had gone, and again, I'm embarrassed and I'm still ashamed. And my sons, they thought, and I'm sure they picked this up from me, that how is this going to help? They're missing another day of school. It was another appointment. Most of the appointments, after school appointments, filled up quickly. So if you were coming, you had to come during school. That was another missed opportunity. But anyway, I made the appointment, and if I shared the information with any of our family or friends, I would just make sure that they knew it was for pain management. I didn't want them to think, again, that my sons were having problems. And this is an issue in a lot of African-American families. No matter the problem, nobody wants to be seen like you can't handle it. So over the years, we've made appointments after difficult pain episodes just to follow up and check up on them. And they've also gone to other self-management programs to help them, kind of reinforce the coping skills that they've learned. And they had their own drive. They advocate for themselves. But often they miss a lot of school. When they were in high school, one year I know they missed over 35 days of school. And on other days, they even went to school in pain. And you're trying to manage everything. So that puts a lot of stress on our family. That put a lot of stress on them, trying to make up for missed schoolwork, trying to just manage everything, trying to catch up. And then again, that put a lot of stress on my youngest son, who's watching his brothers go back and forth to the doctors as they suffer in pain. I remember trying to just manage my sons as they text me from school saying, Mom, I'm in a lot of pain. Can you come pick me up? And I'm trying to encourage them, well, I can come pick you up, but can you just make it one more class? Can you make it one more bell? Try and make it through the end. And I just want to say, chronic illness affects the entire family. It helps if you could teach everyone, I guess, trying to encourage your children to deal with the coping skills or to use their coping skills. My twins are now sophomores in college. They're very active in many leadership roles on campus, and they're even resident advisors now. But my son has been having a very difficult pain crisis now. I'm sorry, I'm wrapping up. A very difficult pain crisis right now. And I just want to say he has started using some of the coping mechanisms that he did learn to kind of manage his way through college, because those were things that are very important. So if you reinforce it over the years, they'll use it throughout their lifetime. And I want to end on a positive note and say that my feelings have evolved and changed, and I will continue to encourage other families to use a mental health therapist that helps. Thanks.